What I'm going to attempt to do now is just check the rubber between the inlet manifold and the cylinders. There's a rubber seal around here, so I'll just check out and see how good that is. So these Allen head screws are not easy to get off. This engine's, what is it, it's 94, so it's 20 years old. So I can guarantee you this wouldn't have been off in 20 years. Okay, so I've just cut this Allen wrench down a bit. It's really hard to... There we go. Yeah, so that's about the length I've had to cut it down to. Looking at the angle of this, as you screw it out, it actually winds into the body of the inlet manifold, and I can't screw it out any further at this point. A really good video to watch if you want to remove and check the intake manifold is Shane Cloney, C-O-N-L-E-Y channel, part 12, how to install an intake manifold on a Harley Davidson Evo. Yeah, it's a good reference point. Okay, so I've undone the two Allen bolts. Okay, so now I'm on the other side, and I'll have to undo these two Allen bolts here. To make life easier for myself, I'm going to remove this engine bracket here. So two Allen screws up the top there, and one on either side connecting to the engine. Actually a fair amount of mud and stuff in that. It's tough. Okay, so around the back here, you may be able to see that there's a bracket holding the nuts for the bolt. All of the Allen head bolts are the same length and same size. You don't have to remove the rear ones, but this is the first time I've removed the inlet manifold, and I thought I'd take them out anyway. Okay, so everything's removed. This should just come straight off. So first look at the gaskets, they look good, they're still supple. First thing I see here is this dirty ring around the front cylinder inlet manifold. I see that the rear one's good and clean, but the front cylinder looks like it could be that air's leaked through there. So that's that side there. But strangely enough, on the other side, which is the rear cylinder, there's this area here of the gasket where it seems to be sort of warped. So I've got to say that's a bit strange. I would have expected that to be on this side. So yeah, that's the side where it's been leaking through, but the gasket seems to be okay. And you can see here that there's something wrong with that gasket. Looks like it's been rolled or pinched or something. Well, the inlet manifolds look pretty good. This is an imported engine. The previous person told me that he imported this engine and installed it. I assume, and I think he said it had low mileage. If you're into cooking, this is really great. I had a bowl of Brussels sprouts and potato, and then I added about a small handful of leftover meat sauce from spaghetti. Then I got a can of anchovies, and I opened up the can and put the oil over, and I got some scissors and I just cut the anchovies up and spread them around. Put salt on it, and by gee, that's one of the best tasting meals I've had. I have tested this intake manifold. When I was on the engine, I got a piece of PVC and blew as hard as I could through there, and it seemed to have really good seal. You can see here that this margin changes, and it's wider here than here. Probably the same on the other side. Yeah, this is the widest width there, and it's thinner here. I don't think it was installed properly, and this could be a cause of the problem. Maybe this and the air-fuel mixture. Okay, I've got my piece of glass table here, glass top. You know, you can use these to make heads flat, engine heads. You know, you just put sandpaper and contact adhesive, get the head and just sand it flat. But I'm going to use this now to just make sure that these are level. Okay, so the markings on these are a very small metal build-up just here, and of course you got the so that you don't have, it's got a cutout so you don't have to remove the rear nuts. Seems to be reasonably flat. There's a very small rocking movement, not much. That's the right hand side one. Yeah, they're both pretty good. Just the rubber gasket goes inside here, and on the contact on the outside. What I had to do was just put it in a vise, and I was able to get it to turn. Okay, so what happens is you got the seal and the bracket here. The seal's just got a V. It's V'd out here on the outside. The inside's flat, and it just sits into that cup there, like that. This bent one, I don't know what the story is here. Okay, so looking at it from that side, it seems to be sitting in a bit further there, but it seems to be completely, you know, maybe it was squashed or something, but it seems to have been a deformed part right from the start. It's got a crack. That's an actual crack. That there. That doesn't extend in behind the body, but so that's the crack. We'll see if it let air in. You know, possibly. Could have got through down there. Okay, so we have a problem. It's going to cost me $45 for two little pieces of rubber and this carburetor seal here. $45. I'm simply not going to pay it, and I'm going to use silicone instead. This really dramatises this, you know, the warp in this the seal here. That's actually flat around there, but on this side it won't actually fit into that cup there. Another thing you can see here, just as the high point here, just before the high point, it actually falls back on a V, back down behind. So yeah, it's not good. So unfortunately, because of that, I'm going to have to look into you know, buying new rubber seals, but I've got to find a better price than $45, because I mean, let's face it, all of it put together, the most that it'd be worth would be about $3, maybe $15, $20 at the most, but not $45. I don't live in the USA, by the way. Okay, so don't forget to just make sure that no dirt or anything bad can get into the carburetor inlets while you're waiting a couple of weeks for parts to come in. Always cover up any holes, just to make sure nothing drops in and destroys your engine.